When we last spoke to our next guest, it was about 2 weeks ago, we figured. She did the entire interview with us on a flip phone, or what we might want to call a dumb phone rather than a smartphone. Kashmir Hill is a New York Times reporter. She covers technology and privacy. And I think like so many of us, she was feeling like she just spends way too much time on her phone. So she embarked on a journey. Kashmir Hill joins us again now. Thanks for your time again today.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Okay, so I want to start by talking about how your daughter, so your 7-year-old daughter phone shamed you, and I can totally relate. I have an 11-year-old who is very unimpressed that I have like a kind of cheapo Android phone, but you took it to a whole other level. So tell us why your 7-year-old was phone shaming you, because this wasn't just a flip phone. This is like going back in time.
Yeah, I mean, when I decided I wanted to give up the smartphone and get a flip phone, it was kind of hard, actually. I tried to do it over the phone with my carrier, and they said they couldn't do it, so I had to go into the store and take my daughters with me. And so they have all of the phones on display there, and I pointed to one I was going to get, and, it's like a black clamshell with these plastic keys, and it's next to all these beautiful touchscreen phones. And she said, "Are you joking? That's really the phone you want?" And she just was kind of laughing at me, and she said, "Well, can I have your iPhone then?"
Oh, I see. Smart kid.
I love that little kids can shame us about anything, and that apparently includes phones, what you wear, what you do, and of course, yes, the kind of phone you have. Can I just ask, before we get into this anymore, to get to the state you're in now, to this stage where you decided I have to do this, how did you get here? Why?
So I was feeling a lot of anxiety about my phone use, and I had turned on Apple's Screen Time, so I get weekly reports about how often I use my phone.
Big mistake.
And it was I kind of felt like it was a masochistic move, and I just dreaded that Sunday delivery of what my screen time had been for the week. And it was regularly more than 5 hours a day, sometimes more than 6 hours a day. And that may seem awful, but actually the average person uses their phone about 4 hours a day, picks it up over 100 times. And I just calculated out for the year 2023 what that meant. And it meant that I was looking at my phone for 3 months of the year. And I said, no wonder I feel anxiety about this. This is just a horrible amount of time to be looking at this tiny screen. I felt like it was taking me away from my kids, away from my husband. I was tempted to look at it when I was driving. And I just thought, I need to deal with this addiction. And I thought, I'll just switch to a flip phone because, I won't be as drawn to use a flip phone. There's nothing to look at on a flip phone.
Okay, so there's like modern flip phones that you can get though, but this is not what you did. You switched to a flip phone, but like old school flip phone for a month. And so when we talk about the inconveniences that must have come with that, can you tell us a bit about what you were dealing with here on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I'm using it, and I'm on it right now.
Oh,
this is the kind of device people.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm still on it. I think the sound quality is clear because it is a phone that's meant to be a phone as opposed to our smartphones,
sure.
Which are meant for everything. But yeah, so it's it's the kind of phone that you got in the early 2000s, and so one of the hardest things for me when I first started using it is not having Google Maps or Waze or navigation, because I realized, wow, I don't know how to get anywhere that's more than 15 minutes away. I'm so used to just firing up Google Maps and putting the address in.
Totally.
And so at first I was getting lost a lot. I got lost in Brooklyn trying to go meet somebody who makes a kind of dumb phone called the light phone. I got lost driving a lot. I had to look things up the night before and get directions, and I would just memorize them. But it was actually ended up being one of my favorite things about making a switch to the flip phone is I now know how to get around. I know the names of roads. I know where the highways go. But at first that was a real struggle.
Isn't that interesting? The learn stuff. This is kind of that idea of you forget people's phone numbers so often because you just hit a name and then eventually you don't even remember their number. You had the same thing with directions, right? Stuff that you ordinarily would pay attention to, street names, highways, whatever, that you never had to because Google Maps was telling you, or whatever, Waze was telling you where to go.
Yeah, I was just on autopilot, when I was kind of making my way around the city, around the area where I live. The other thing I experienced was boredom. There would be these moments, stopped at a red light or standing at the elevators at the New York Times waiting for the elevator to come, sitting in a doctor's kind of waiting room, these moments where I usually just automatically pull out a smartphone. And now I didn't really have anything to do. It let my mind wander, but I did have this physical urge. I called it my thumb twitch, where I would be searching in my pockets for my phone, like wanting to just rub my phone like along the touch screen. Wow. And it took about 2 weeks for that kind of physical urge to disappear.
So crazy. I also, can I just say, with respect to the old flip phone, Natasha, do you have a flip phone? Did you ever?
I did, yeah.
Okay. The idea, there are now people out there, I think you mentioned this in the article, they're a kind of a group, if you will, who love these old phones and can tell you where to find the newest, oldest phones, whatever. I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of them after the story came out, because I talked to this one professor who had done this whole study about how to help people use their phones less and be more active. And, it included motivational messages, kind of doing exercise to earn screen time, putting limits on the apps, these kinds of tools you can use with Android and the iPhone. And I told him, well, I used a flip phone and that really helped me cut down on my screen time. And he said, well, that's great, but that's not really sustainable in today's world. And so I heard from a lot of readers. I got hundreds of emails from people who said, hey, I use a flip phone all the time. It can be challenging. We're increasingly in this smartphone-centric world where it can be hard not to have one. But I love my life. I'm living a better life because I'm on a flip phone, and it allows me to be present.
I have a friend like that.
My family.
I have a friend like that who, and people make fun of her, but it's very deliberate on her part because she does not want that part of her life being taken over by her phone. I respect it, but I think the challenges that come with it, and you lay this out in your article in the New York Times, like you have 9 keys to text, but you've got 2 kids, like you said, daughters that, the logistics must be crazy. And then you faced some hostility, so to speak, like people not listening to your voice messages or not wanting to actually talk to you because you had to have more conversations.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't think it was hostility. I think that people just aren't used to talking on the phone. They definitely don't listen to voicemails. And so I would call people, and they would very rarely call me back. They would send me a text in response, if they even responded at all. I don't think a lot of people listen to their voicemails these days.
So this line that you say, I started to call people instead, and it was a problem because most people don't want their phone to function as a phone.
It's true. These smartphones are, they're amazing in so many ways. And I love that I can kind of land anywhere in the world and figure out how to get around, the best restaurant, the best hotel to stay at. You can call an Uber. It's incredibly convenient, but they're almost too easy to use. And it can become this, a lot of the experts I talked to compared it to mindless eating, just this mindless tech use where you kind of get the phone out to check something, and then you get into this habit loop where you check 5 other apps, and all of a sudden you've forgotten what you were doing. It really can become kind of harmful in day-to-day use, and those hours can really add up that you're on it.
So we're running out of time. I want to ask the ultimate question, of course. At the end of all this experiment, are you going to keep the flip phone, or are you going back?
Yeah, so I am still on the flip phone. I'm talking on it right now. My husband has really encouraged me to keep using it. He says I just seem happier. I feel more relaxed. I do have my iPhone. I set it up on a new line so I can have it when I need it. But I really have just been enjoying how it makes me feel to use the flip phone. So I'm still going for now. And I've been encouraging people who kind of want to try this to consider, there's Dry January, to try out Flip Phone February, where they give up their smartphone for the month, or maybe just really try to reduce the usage for a month, just to maybe get the 2024 started off right.
Great story.
February flip phone detox.
I love that, huh?
I really like the sound of it. I don't know how I would navigate it with my kid, and power to you, Kashmir. I'm so impressed. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.